tuned in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hi, people. I'm not going to do konnichiwa again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, that's how you know that like waking up early, going to bed late's happening, because the brain cells are fighting each other. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome for the last Tokyo version of Athletics LLC. Sir Lucius, thank you for joining us again across the waters, and so great.
My pleasure.
So
it's absolute pleasure to be on here with you wonderful folks this morning.
Yes,
for me
yes.
And evening for you.
I know. Morning for you. Well, as we talked to Sir Lucius already, Mr. Lamar, shaking my head Huffins. Hello, sir.
Good evening, all. Good evening. I am repping one young man that I feel very strongly about, Mr. Lyndon Victor, who did a great job in the decathlon the last couple of days. And I just wanted to send out a shout out to somebody who didn't win a medal, but who's in a country that's like smaller than the state of Texas and was top 10 of the world.
Awesome. Very awesome. Seriously. Last but not least, Clyde, how we doing?
I'm highly irritated.
I know. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. Well, let's irritate you just a little bit more intentionally, because we're just going to address this the foolery of our Olympic predictions, because I made some horrible predictions per some mouths on this tiles here and some on social media, but your girl came out the gates hot. Now I'm not finishing. That's definitely not happening. But I came out looking smooth.
Choose picks are the equivalent of an anchor leg that can't get it done.
I mean,
Shots fired.
And you know what? I'm gonna own it, because I came out hot and I was excited, and now I'm like,
you were really excited.
I was, and now I'm just expired.
For full context, listen. We talk a lot of trash to Chew about her predictions, and trust me, she's earned that reputation and therefore that behavior from us. But I assure you, when the medals started coming through and we're looking at the score and we were getting curb stomped by Chew, all three of us were panicking.
Panicking.
Full blown panic. Now, luckily for us, Chew came back to the pack and looks like is tripping at the finish line, and that's cool. But the problem is me and Sir Lucius are actually right there with her, because we've just sucked across the board. So there will be no gloating about this. We know who the winner is going to be. But me, Chew, and Lucius are fighting for our basic respect right now. Somebody's going to be off the podium. And that somebody's going to be off. We don't know who.
But I mean, so I said it earlier this morning, or morning for us, like Nostradamus wouldn't have predicted any of these results.
Yeah,
like literally.
We're just,
what
and the winner is definitely not, listen, he can win by 1 point. We're going to hear it for a year. You know why? Because of all the contests we have done. This is the Olympic contest.
I know.
He's the Olympian. So.
This is what we're doing now? I'm sorry, let me clutch my imaginary pearls over that nonsense. I somehow have some sort of advantage because I went to the Olympics. Let's be clear.
That's not what I said. I'm saying you're going to gloat harder because it's the Olympic contest. I'm
going to gloat harder because all you have done is gloat. I was undefeated for the first year of the show. Those are your words.
It's a fact.
So
not going very well.
I'm not even the gloating type. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna let the score speak for itself. I will say this: I did legitimately have a great amount of internal pressure to pick the decathlon right. And the fact that my picks were different than yours scared the living crap out of me, because that meant if I was wrong to all three of you. So I feel good about that I at least got that one right.
Touche.
I mean, if you got it wrong,
Right. There you go. If I got it wrong, then, you know, let the bashing begin.
seriously, seriously. But so for all of you out there who actually are following, Lamar's in front, catching all the wind for us. And then Clyde, myself, and Sir Lucius are making sure we keep going forward and trying not to fall backwards. So we wrap up this evening with the men's 15 for our last set of results, and then we'll go ahead and address them next week, but I will do a little social media update so we can wait for a week to make sure we feel better before we talk about it.
Just trying to get a medal. Just trying to have a medal. Oh, just trying to have a medal.
Who's going to dive further at the line? Let's see. So speaking of social media and updating that, surrounding the Olympics, specifically to our sport, of course, because that's what we care most about. And it seems that there's a lot of communication. I'm going to call it communication, maybe just words, out there about some of these instances that specifically are happening within Team USA. Call them internet coaches, call them the internet elite. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. The internet elite. Oh, hashtag that one. Let's talk about what's going on with this. What are we thinking? How does it actually mesh with reality versus just social media and those who are speaking and sometimes speaking out the wrong end?
Well, I would be more than happy to start off this segment because I have never seen such. Well, let's just start on the ground here. The decisions that have been made for the relay, and it's just been wrong, just been bad. And for the record, for all of you people out there that have chosen to text me or email me or send me messages on Facebook Messenger, I don't coach the relays. For all of you people that want to stand up and say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to say this as before we move into this, get in the damn game. To quote my man Dwayne Ross, get out of your cushy chairs, get from behind your phone, get from behind your iPads, get from behind your computers, get in the damn game. So until you are here in Tokyo, until you are wherever the next World Championship Olympic Games are coaching somebody, then don't talk to me about my ability to coach, right? Because half of you probably can't tie your shoes without breathing on. So I don't want to talk about it. I'm done. So that being said, I have not shit to do with the relay. Okay, there's a relay coach. Wallace Freeman's a relay coach. You got a problem with it? Call Wallace Freeman. Stop texting me and calling me. I have nothing to do with it. Now, absolute bad decisions there. Okay, horrible decisions there. Now, it's one medal, folks. It's one event. And we go into this because it's the 4x1, and somehow we're supposed to win the 4x1. And when we don't win the 4x1, we're having a horrible Olympics because we didn't win 4x1. No. We've had a very good Olympic Games. We've had some phenomenal performances on both sides of the coin. But somebody better wake up and understand the rest of the world's caught up to us. And it's time for us here. We've been punched in the gun a little bit. Now it's time to counterpunch. So how do we react to it? How do we react to that? How do we react to what we've seen here at these games? I'll let you guys chime in there now.
First of all, thank you for what you said. I love it. I'm struggling with, okay, me and Lucius are friends. We have a dialogue, like a constant dialogue. And I am not going to call or text or email him while he's in Tokyo and question his ability to do his job. So the fact that like people who don't actually have a relationship with this man have the guts to do things like that is beyond my level of comprehension.
Twitter fingers, baby.
Like people are insane. I don't know what culture shift has happened to where people are that comfortable just being idiots. But if you're gonna be loud about something, at least be loud about something you actually know, or you actually
And to the right person.
And to right. Like, listen, we all got a lot of things to say about relay decisions and execution and all of that, but at least know who you're supposed to be shouting at. Like, Wallace Spearman deals with the men's relays, Michelle Freeman deals with the female relays. It's a relay staff. Don't point fingers at the head coaches of the men's and women's teams. That's not how this works. So anyway, like it's a lot. Having said that, since we're currently on the state of affairs with the men's 4x1 and the debacle that was, listen, I haven't seen anything worse than that in a like ever. People have said, oh, but we've dropped the stick. Yes, if you drop the baton, at least you have the space to say, well, if we had not dropped the baton, then no. We had on paper the best 4 people to line up mathematically ever. And we ran 38-10. Got walked down by Ghana and everybody else and did not advance out of the first round. I have literally never seen something executed that poorly. And when the post Olympics, reports are out, when everybody's back home and people are having discussions and the details of how we land at something like that ultimately comes out, like it's going to blow people's minds at how inept and how bad the structure of this current situation went. And I mean, look, the athletes got to run, and there's a part of that is apropos and correct to say, hey, the athletes ran badly. Yes, the hell they did, but they were set up badly. The structure was bad. They were not prepared to be victorious. And so in an environment like that, if the setup is wrong, if the structure is wrong, if there's no discipline, if there's no cohesion, if there's no, map to success, this is what you get. And at some point, absolutely, the arrogance of the ideology that we have, that we can just show up because it's us and it's going to work out. Like, I don't even know where that came from. There's a structural, just ridiculous nature to how we handle this particular set of business. We've been losing for like 20 years. We lost in 16 and then got the result tossed out. Oh, I'm sorry, we got disqualified in 16. We got the second place result wiped out in 12. We didn't win. 12 was 08. We didn't win. 04 we didn't win. Like, this has been going on for a while. So no one should be surprised about what happened, but it's a structure.
We have not won the 4x1 in 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. 21.
Well, yeah, 21.
At the Olympics, and we won the World Championships last year. So let me say this, because I think that you said something that needs to be addressed. The fact that we can just show up and do it, right? Like, I've coached some pretty good 4x1s in my life, a lot of them actually, and coach, and it's about continuity, right? So, in slight defense of what went on here, the guys were never here together, because you got here 5 days before competition, so guys running 100 couldn't do 4x1 exchanges, right? The guys that were in the 200 weren't here. They got here 5 days before they started racing, so when they got here, the meet had started, so you can't do exchanges. there's been someone said to me, well, why weren't Kenny and Noah on the relay team? Well, they just got here. They ran the 200. The 4x1 was the next morning. So what are they going to do with the time changes? Right? So my issue is that the people that were able to do those challenge changes did not do them and not do them properly. So, but overall, when you talk about how do we fix it, let's start with the fact that, okay, everybody should have been to the beginning. So then you could do some stuff as you transition towards their races. But at the end of the day, we just show up and win, right? And we haven't won in 20 years. So clearly, that's part of how do we fix it. We have to have a freaking relay camp. We have to have a productive relay camp. I think most of the people would agree that the 2012 Olympic 4x1s were two of the best we ever had. I was with JD and that crew, and I watched that happen. And that was something that guy was magical in how he choreographed that.
Yes, that's the last time we did it well, and there was structure and discipline and accountability. The result ultimately got thrown out, not because of anything that had to do with the execution of the 4x1. But see, okay, so to that point, because this is stuff that a lot of people have been complaining about and don't really understand. USA Track and Field did not have a pre-Olympic training camp anywhere in Japan. Everyone else
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Everyone else had one in Japan. Now, the why, someone's got to explain that. Because the idea, if you've ever traveled internationally to compete, showing up 5 days before your event is literally the danger window of bad performance. You'd be better off getting off the plane and going. 5 days is a very bad window for elite performance. And so when you have that kind of context, the people that have been successful, it's even more mind-blowing what they've done. And there's been a lot of successful people. But everyone else had some kind of structure with their teams in place, practicing the craft that they have to go out there and perform as it pertains to the relay, and we did not. I think I want to make sure I get it right, but my brain is falling down here. There's an interview out there with, I think it's Kenny Ben-Narek, saying they basically didn't practice, like at all. They asked Fred how much did they practice, and they said not much. So it's like, what? Like it just can't be this way. It just can't. And
it's got to change. And the thing is like the 4x1 relay. See, you have to be here. Yeah, for those folks who want to run it now, you have to be here to see what's going on, right? You have to watch Japan warm up and China warm up. It's beautiful. You know, like they are choreographing what they're about to do, right? You know, whether it was them or it was Germany. Even I watched the team that qualified for Jamaica practice on the warm-up track the night before they came out the next morning, right? They were out the afternoon before. They were out there getting after it. There was never any getting after it with the men's 4x1. You can't practice at 75% and then have a guy coming at you that's run 9.8, that's 6'3", and a lot better out from a roller start than he is from the blocks. You can't mimic that unless you experience it. You know, you just can't. And so the whole problem here is, how do you fix it? You have to have relay camps. You have to have better leadership in place. You have to have structure in place. It's not about we're supposed to win. We need to work to win. We need to put the things in place to make us be successful. And clearly, whatever we're doing is not working. You know, so at what point in time did we pull the card of the insanity card, right? At what point in time did we pull that card?
Yeah.
Lamar, I'm sure you have something to say here. So.
I was just going to say that.
You know, here's the thing. Like, look, this is definitely, preacher and choir. So I'm not going to go real deep on this, but I'll just say this, right? Like, look, if you value something as much as the United States in general values the 4 relay medals, put adults in charge and get the hell out of the way. And at the end of the day, if you refuse to do that, then shut up and take the results you get. Right? Like, that's just what it is. Right? I can tell you this, like, all I can speak to is my own, you know, Chris Huffin's industry as an athlete. And it was my responsibility to get my coach, get my physio, get my chiropractor, make sure my travel was on time. If the USATF travel was not adequate to what I felt like, which it wasn't in my Bashi, I paid for a plane ticket to go to Tokyo 6 days before the US team went, because I knew how much time I needed to be adequate to actually be able to do what I had to do. At the end of the day, this isn't about me. It's about preparation for things that are important. If those 4 medals mean as much to the people who are running their mouths about it, if those 4 medals mean that much, 5 now. It was always 4, but yes, now including the mix, right? It's 5, right? If those 5 medals mean what they mean, right? We're going to treat them like women's soccer team, men's basketball, women's basketball team medals, right? We're going to treat these team medals like we treat those. Do you know how much time the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team spend together before they come and play? Do you know how much time the women's soccer team and men's soccer team spend together before they come and play for the medals? Right. So at the end of the day, if we're going to want those results, right? Hey, this just in, we're going to have to act like that. And so, I'm not going to go round and round about it, because honestly, here's the unfortunate part. If you watch the little Kevin Hart snippet right before the race ran, you're like, well, there it is, folks. Like, literally, the man cataloged how bad we've been for 20 years, showing drop after drop after DQ after, right? Bruh, if there's a small movie about this, we should probably change what we do. Like, we should not be cannon fodder for a comedian. But at the end of the day, right? Folks want to run to get credit, but then speed walk backwards to avoid blame, right? So if that's the case, if this is what it really is, we need to put adults in charge, real live qualified adults who understand accountability, and then get out of their way, and whatever they say they need, give it to them. Right? I think we still keep trying to put together the relay in the most antiquated fashion, right? We take the 4 fastest guys, stick them on the track, and they're going to win. Hey, guess what? There are square pegs that don't fit in triangular holes.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, right? But this is the part that we never do, right? This is the part we never do, is accept the fact that the 4 fastest guys, it's like free agents in basketball, right? If you put the 5 most talented guys on the court at the same time, you are probably going to lose. Because there has to be somebody whose job it is to do his job, and his job only. Right? If there's somebody out there in the United States who really moves the stick well, I don't care what they run in the 100 at the meet. They do that job really well, and we need that job. Right? But we don't think like that.
But here's the problem. You have no idea of knowing who can move the daggone stick if you don't practice. You have to have practice.
You have to have practice.
You know? You have to. If you don't practice, how do you know who can move the stick and who can't? How do you know who can, accelerate through the zone? How do you know whose hand goes where? If you don't practice, and especially don't practice at full speed, you have no freaking idea who can do what.
Listen, we all agree that practice must be had. We all agree pre-camp must be had. I'm going to throw something out there that I think Lamar just signaled that he's going to agree with me on, but I know people in the world don't agree with me on, because I've been saying it for a really long time. And this is about our larger systemic problem that I see as a process. We have the Olympic trials, and I love our system. It's the best in the world. I don't want to change it. But we run the 100 meters at the Olympic trials to determine one thing: who earned the right to get in blocks and run in a straight line to go compete for the 100-meter gold medal. I do not understand, and I have never understood, why the result of that race magically somehow must dictate the idea of who gets to run on a 4x1. Running a 120-meter fly without blocks is not the same thing as running from blocks through 100 meters. And we have people like Lamar just said, who, if you watch the sport, if you pay attention to the sport, if you watch the races, are really good at certain skills and should be obvious. To me, here's a very obvious one in the current climate that we have. Desiree Bryant did not make the 100-meter team. She didn't make the 200-meter team. But everybody knows Desiree Bryant's a very good starter, and she runs the hell out of a turn. She's always lighting people up for the first 120 off of a turn. So why isn't Desiree Bryant a person that you bring along in case you need somebody to run a pop-off or a turn? Like, Kenny Bednarek has proven to be a phenomenal turn runner out of blocks. But somehow, Trayvon ends up on the track. Listen, I've been driving the Trayvon bandwagon for a year. I've been driving it. Okay, I've been driving it. I'm a fan of the kid. I wanted him to do well, but it is obvious to anybody who watched the meet that he was not ready to go in Tokyo. He looked bad in the first round. He looked bad in the semifinal. He didn't make the final. The start, the thing he's great at, wasn't there. So at some point, we got to like, hey man, I hear you, but you need to go and sit down, and we need to put somebody else who could do this job in that seat. Kenny could have done it. Michael Williams could have done it. There's so many. We had options.
Yeah.
So I don't like the idea that the 100-meter final must decide who's going to run the team when we all know and have all experienced. I can't think of any team I've ever coached. It's never the 4 fastest dudes or girls from the 100 meters who make my 4x1. That never happens. There's hurdlers.
Well, see, and that's a bad analogy now, Kalani, because like your team is not the USA team.
Sure.
Okay, the USA team this year, it's hard not to use the top 4. I hear you, but the top 4 guys were sub 990. That's hard not to put them all in the track if you can. But again, it goes for me back to preparation. Okay, so let's okay. We have a relay program with relay coaches, right? So
apparently,
to what you're saying, that what should happen here is people like Des should be considered. You know, people that have that skill set as long as they show fitness. But because the relay program is just set up to, okay, we'll take people from the meet and do this, it's not the same. So the problem is the structure of the program. Because you're right, we should not, okay, in certain years, like this year, it works if you let it work, right? But then in other years, it doesn't. But that's if you have a true relay program with relay coaches that are privy to what's going on around the country and get to spend more time with them. You know, because I'll be honest with you, I've had the pleasure of having a lot of conversations with Oren Richburg, who's the head relay coach. He's not here because his wife's not doing well. But Oren has great thoughts and ideas. But because he's not here on the ground, the people here have decided they want to do they're doing. Because let's not forget that we had some very good success in the relays just 2 years ago in Doha.
2019.
Yeah, so let's not forget that. So let's not bash the relay program completely because Oregon did a phenomenal job in Doha. Oregon's just not here.
Okay, so can we pause on that for a second, because this is actually, for me, it's part of what gets lost in the narrative with the general public. In 2019, we had a very good result. We won the gold medal and they broke the American record. That is a fact. It was a very good result. But if you watch the race, we of the people who got medals, we were by far the worst executed. 2 teams that finished behind us with severely less talent were way too close to us because we had poor execution. And so in that respect—
Whoa. Wasn't Great Britain second?
Huh?
Wasn't Great Britain second?
Great Britain and Japan.
But Great Britain's talent was not that much. I mean, it was not as
Sir,
good as ours, but it wasn't.
compared,
No,
if you look at who Great Britain has,
your quote was much less.
yes,
I
much
disagree
less,
with them
much less.
much less.
We
Not
had
much
Christian
less.
Coleman, Justin Gatlin, and Noah Lyles on the track. Great Britain had nobody on their team that can run with those people. Nobody. And they almost got us. And Japan almost got us. We were poorly
Maybe not.
executed.
Wait, hold on a second. We won that. We didn't almost get us. We won that by a ton. That race wasn't close.
Okay.
Almost. Okay, so we outlead them at the
Pull
line.
up the times. Pull up the marks from Doha.
No, hold on a second. I'm asking you before she said, no, don't you say a word yet. We outlead them at the line, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying it was a photo finish.
You said they almost got us.
It was way too close. Absolutely. Given who was running, it was way too close.
No, you said they almost got us. That's not way too close.
Lamar.
That's not what you said. Okay. So I want to hear these times first.
Yeah. While she's looking up the times, I just want to say this. This show has been exactly what happens in this country. We've spent all this time talking about one medal that was botched, as opposed to so many other things that we should, could, and shall talk about.
No,
And so
exactly.
once Chu drops the knowledge, I'm on to the next. I want to talk about the two queens of the 400 hurdles. I want to talk about the two combatants in the men's 400 hurdles. I want to talk about the future of the United States track and field. I want to talk about anything other than the fact that we botched another men's 4x1.
That's cool. Chu could give us that thing at the end of the show. We can move on right now. I'm fine with that, because please believe the greatest race in the history of the world is going to be talked about on this damn show, which is the men's 400 hurdles. Greatest race ever. And I ain't talking about the top two, because yes, amazing. The whole race.
The whole race.
The whole race.
The race broke my brain. Like that night, I couldn't go to sleep because I kept saying, somebody ran 45 seconds. Like, I know I said it, right? Like, yes, I know I said it on camera, right? But the fact that it happened, somebody ran 45 seconds over sticks.
Right. And that's mind-boggling. So let's recall, and this was probably one of those off the post or pre-show conversations where we said that it should be 45 seconds. Okay, because if you think about it in relationship to what did we do in the open quarter, if we are 43 low in the 400, then shouldn't we be 45 seconds over hurdles? Right?
Yeah,
we've said that. Like. This Kevin ran 46.7. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's so fast! How do you do that?" So then but now you got a group of people that are like here about 46.7, right? So,
yeah, I mean, people like to not do the math. I mean, Kevin ran 46.7. His open PB in the quarter was 45 flat, and he ran it that year at Occidental. Right. Exactly. 45.04 or 06, something like that.
Right. So if Rod Benjamin's a 43 second guy, shouldn't he run 46 low?
Correct.
Okay, so I want to pause here.
That doesn't take away from the greatest of the race stuff. That doesn't take away from that.
I want to say this because, I've made it abundantly clear. Benjamin is my favorite male athlete in the sport right now, and has been for a while. If depending on what coverage you were watching, maybe you saw his post-race interview and maybe you didn't. If you did, I suggest you go find it. It was incredibly difficult to watch. If it didn't spark any emotions in you, I don't know what kind of soul you have. Like, that kid did everything he thought he needed to do and ran 46.1, and it wasn't enough. And to watch how gutted he was in the moment, that kid apologized for running 46.1. Like, if you're a fan of this sport and you don't understand the gravity of what these people are out there trying to do, go watch that piece of tape. Because like, that race was that much. Like, it had that much weight to it. And listen, you could be a track nerd and you could argue the technical aspects of the race. from the men or the women's side. And there's a lot there. You know, you could teach a class on it. But just the raw emotion of it is what I will ultimately remember. Like, the race was incredible, and I've watched it literally 25 times since it happened. But I've also watched Rye's press conference, his interview with Lewis Johnson after that, almost as many times. And that's the weight of the Olympics, man. Like, that, everything about the Olympics is in that interview right there. And it was tough to watch. It was sad, but man, Rye has nothing to hang his head about. Like, that, he just got beat, man. Like, listen, Carson Warholm is a psychopath. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Like, he's just a different dude in the brain. And hey, like, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, I again, you know, here I watch things in the warm-up area on the big screen, and you know, when the clock stopped and it said 45:94, I think, or whatever it said, and everybody's just like, all of a sudden, everybody just stopped breathing. Like, wow. And then, because my brain works that way, I'm like, what the hell did the rest of them do? Because it wasn't like, you know, they were down there, like they were all within, you know, earshot. Like, so when the time started popping up, it was just the most incredible thing you've ever seen in a track and field meet. And the camaraderie amongst that group, and they're all still pretty young, except for, I think, Capello, but he's the old guy that ran 47.8, right? So
Par for the course.
I mean, you think about it, exactly. If the old dude ran 47.8, got six.
47.8 got sixth.
Hold
So-
on, you're muted, sir.
Lamar is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit unmute. There you
The 400 hurdles showed the rest of the track and field world how it's supposed to be done, right? Because I'm going to the women's race as well. And at the end of the day, like, let's look at it like this. First of all, let's speak truth. Who on this panel 365 days ago knew who Femke Bol is?
go. I mean, 35
I didn't.
days ago.
I
I didn't.
didn't either.
Right? Okay. So
Little
300 and, like, 55 days ago, right? Two people believed in a plan, Femke Bol and her coach. If we do this, and this, you will break the world record. And you know what? They were successful.
right, because she did break the world
Like,
record.
let's just be clear, right? She came from nowhere to be the best to ever do it, and got beat senseless by two, like, superheroes, right? So at the end of the day, it's like, hey, rest of the world, take a look at what's going on in the 400 hurdles on the men's side and the women's side. There are people who have said whatever is functionally successful now isn't the way to win going forward. I've got a plan. Me and my coach are going to do this, and we're going to execute this, and we're willing to put all our chips in on this plan, and we're going to meet you 365 days from now and whoop you. 6 different camps, right? The three men's camps and the three women's camps. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to 4 through 6, because they were ridiculous too. But the point is, like, to me, that is the definition of a high tide raising all boats.
Oh, for sure.
Right? And that's what it's like. That's how you, when people talk about moving the sport forward, hello, that's it right there. Somebody just sent me a tweet. It said that the most nations to ever win a gold medal in one Olympics is 25, and we currently have 20 different nations. We currently have 21, and an outside chance to get to 25. But, like, look, that says it all right there. Like, guys, I've been to more countries than I have states, and last night during the men's triple jump, I found out that there was a country that I didn't know of. The young man who got the bronze medal in triple jump, I knew it was an African nation, but I'm gonna be honest with you, no chance I could find it on a map.
So can we pause and stay in this 400 hurdle dysphoria between the men and the women for a second? Because Lamar, you and me had a very interesting conversation earlier off, obviously off camera. And I just think it's the most interesting thing going on in our sport right now, right? Like, I don't know who all agrees with me on this, but I've said it on this show before. Dalilah Muhammad is, at this point in the world, the greatest of all time in the 400 hurdles. Former Olympic champion, former world champion, current world champion, former Olympic champion, and until this year, the world record holder. But she's also 10 years older than Sydney. And in 2019, Dalilah was a better hurdler and a much better executioner of her strategy. And that's why she broke the world record, and that's why she won. Sydney made some professional decisions. She now is a much better hurdler and runs the race in a much different way than any other woman has. And to me, with the new techniques, with the new skills, with the new race model, with the new coach, and being 10 years younger, I just, as crazy good as Dalilah is, I just don't see how she can turn around and beat Sid. Now, it might just be epic for the next 4 or 5 years. It might just continue to be epic, and they might bring the record down and down and down and down. But I don't really see a path to how Dalilah can flip that. Inversely, Rye has yet not evolved his pattern to where it could be. And him and Karsten are the same age. They're 1 year apart. So these dudes can continue to do what they're doing, but right now it's not back and forth. Karsten Warholm is the greatest of all time, and he's dominating Rye head to head. So it's like that's just really interesting to me across the board. And I don't know where everybody lies on that, but I don't see Sid losing in the foreseeable future. And if Rye can figure out how to take his race to the same type of place that Sid took hers, I think Rye could flip it. But I'm saying now, I didn't think Karsten could run 45 seconds. I didn't think he could do it, but he did. And Rye will not beat him running his race. I don't see how.
Well,
Lucius?
I mean, Rye. No, I actually had a conversation with Rye last night about all this. And Rye is going to make the changes he needs to make to be the best in the world. He was gutted by what happened. Karsten made a move that kind of startled him a little bit. But at the end of the day, I've actually had some pretty intense conversations with people like, well, Rye should have went with him. Okay, so then Rye would have died soon, right? Like, it wasn't like Rye just ran up on him at the line and couldn't catch him. He caught him, and the man ran off and left him. So obviously, Rye's race pattern is what Rye's race pattern is now. He ran into 46.17. Say that out loud a couple of times.
Yeah.
I said to one person, his PR over hurdles is the second fastest than yours on the flat. Shut your mouth. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, my thing is just, okay, does Rye have to make changes to do better? He absolutely does. And he knows that. But we cannot be overly critical of what happened in the race. He just got beat by a better guy. Just that simple. Now, do I think that Rye's going to fight back? Absolutely. I think that if you watch the race, I'm not sure how much there's left for Karsten to go. I think he's close to maxed out. But there's a lot more Rye can do.
Yeah,
a lot. So I think over the foreseeable future that Rye and Quincy and Joanna have some decisions to make. If they make those decisions, and I think that in a very short period of time, the world record in the 400 hurdles is going to be something really crazy, right? I think
it already is something really crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. See, I don't think it's really crazy. I think it's really crazy because we never saw it before. But when you do the math on it, it's like,
that's you're right.
Probably where it should be. Right? Okay. Now, when you talk about the women, I don't agree that Dalilah can't beat Sid, because if you know what Dalilah went through this year, being hurt, having COVID, all the other stuff, and it wasn't like Sid curve stomped her. It's a close race. It's closer than the 4x1 in 2019. I bet you that. So, anyway, did I say that? But so, and knowing Lawrence Boogie Hurdle Mechanic Johnson, he's going to try to figure it out. See, the problem you got is like, you got these two incredible athletes, but you also got these two incredible coaches. Okay, this is punch counter punch time. See, I had the opportunity, the pleasure of watching Bobby prepare Sydney for this fight. Okay, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. So he comes over on the backstretch, and this is right before the men are warming up for the semifinal, and we're on the backstretch going down this direction. Bobby comes over and he said, "Are there women's hurdle marks over here?" And I'm like, "No, but the heps were over here. They put tape down." So by showing where they are, he puts 3 hurdles down. He goes, "What's the starting line?" Gets the starting line, puts the blocks down. So he goes over and gets Sid. He comes over. Sydney goes over 3 hurdles on regular spacings with her non-dominant leg from the blocks.
100-meter hurdle style.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm not talking about floating. I'm like, she's rolling, right? He immediately, the first time she did it, he goes, "No, that's not right. Come back and do it again." Comes back, she does it right, and we're like, wow. Then she immediately walks to the other side because look, I'm intrigued now. And shit, grandstand warming up. I gotta watch this. She goes over to the other side. I'm not sure what the spacing word on these hurdles. He makes her. She turns around and she's walking away. And he says, now she turns around and just starts running at the hurdles. And he's, whatever leg comes up, you take it. And she flew through that. And he goes back on the other side. At this point, I got to take care of Grant. So I don't know what's going on. I imagine he just did it again. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And the thing was, guys, I promise you, this girl can run 13 low on her offside. Guarantee you she can. It's crazy. But that was the beauty. So the problem you have here, you have the ultimate mad scientist in Bobby Kersey with the ultimate equipment here, right? With Sid. And then you have Delilah, who is the GOAT and who is as prideful as they come, with a coach that's, a mad scientist as well. So I think you have 2 different models trying to achieve the same goal. And I think the world record's going to be 50 point something here real soon. Because
I'm gonna sound way less crazy.
Yeah, you are. And Miss Ball's not going well.
No, she's not. And
that's the best part of it. To me, that's the best part of it.
It's because we've forgotten another one. Neither is Crazy Girl.
Shamir.
No,
yeah.
Like
that's my girl. Love Shamir.
Like that's the men's race was the greatest race ever, right? And with all due respect to Anna Cockrell, who I'm a fan of and super happy that she made the team, at this point in the world, Shamir's just better than her. Shamir hit a hurdle at the trials. I don't know if Shamir beats Delilah at the Olympics, given what Delilah just did, but she for sure was going to beat her at the trials. And then she goes over and runs 52 back to back. Like Shamir was missing from that race. And if Shamir's in that race, it probably looks a lot like the men's race, where it's just everything's insane. Because Femke Bowl did break the old world record. I say old as in, 2 months ago, a month ago.
Yeah.
She, because
if Shamir's there and on her game, Bowl could be 52 flat and be third. Or Shamir could be 52 flat and be fourth, right?
Right.
I mean, it could be 52 flat and be fourth. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think we are set up for some phenomenal runs in both of those races over the next 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure how Delilah is going to make it past Paris, but we'll see because of her age. But I will say this, that on the men's side, all those jokers, except for the 47-8 guy, those guys are all babies. We were joking that there was a time when 4 years ago when we signed Kyra McMasters and Noah Lyles, and now they're both at the Olympics, doing what they're doing. And I don't see a world where the men's 400 hurdle race doesn't just go this crazy depth now because the top's been broken off of it, right?
I mean,
and the question is, and John Smith said it best. The question is, will the rest of the people continue to do the work, and the people that aren't in the game do the work to get in?
That's right.
So I'm gonna.
Is Kyra McMaster?
Say again.
How sick is McMaster? Right? Like him and Lennox did a phenomenal job. And that kid went out
Mhm.
there and ran 47 flat. No podium. Like, my God.
That was one. What he ran was once the world record.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
and
And
forever it was the second fastest time of all time.
and would have won every other championship
Except for
forever.
this one.
Except for this one and Kevin's. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to say this because it's the umbrella statement, and this is kind of what this is my principal thought when I'm going through the internet, scrolling, watching all these criticisms and all these things that are being typed out and then tweeted or posted and whatnot, is everything that you all have discussed, specifically in the fours, but in every event that we've seen this in, right? The bar's been raised, but not only that, the floor has been raised. And on these tiles, that's very specific to what our desire is for the sport as a professional coaching situation, as well as the athletic situation, right? Raise the floor, because then we're only going to get better and the lid's going to stay off and we're just going to keep spouting out all this good stuff. But what I'm hearing you all say and what resonates in my heart is everybody else, maybe sometimes us ourselves included, need to stop breaking it down. Stop picking apart all these things that they didn't do or that went wrong, but highlight everything that went right so that the floor keeps coming up. Everybody wants to, we said it earlier, everybody wants to have that definition of sanity and keep doing the wrong stuff. And it ain't working. It hasn't worked. So knock, knock, change what you're doing. Highlight the things that are going right.
That's very prophetic. You see, so let's we are creatures of habit here in the United States. And I'm gonna tell you, I think the reason that the 100 was so good this year was because Coleman wasn't there.
Yeah,
Because all of a sudden
I
they
agree.
saw something that they could do, right? So Coleman goes away, it's like, oh my God, I can win that. So everybody works hard to win.
Mhm.
But my thing is this: do the same thing when Coleman comes back.
Mhm.
You know, like there's other 400 hurdlers in this country that are good. Newsflash, folks: 48 flat ain't fast.
And
It ain't fast.
if you thought it was
So
fast,
if you,
it damn sure ain't fast now.
Now, no.
right, and it never has been. So let's stop just doing enough to run 48 flat, make a team, and then
Mhm.
coming over here and getting stomped on. Let's make it. Let's give Rye some company, because it's just gonna make Rye better, right?
Yeah.
But let's not wait for Rye to take a year off so everybody go, oh my God, I can do this now because Rye's not there. Let's not be afraid of the competition.
Mhm.
You know, like you understand the future of our 200 meter team?
Wow. Or just the 200
Think about
in
that.
itself, not even specifically our team. The 200 in itself, that was such a young race.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm talking about the U.S. I can't take
Yeah.
anybody else. That's the the USA, Noah's 23, Kenny's 22, and Ariana's 17. But here's the key: don't run from the competition, guys. Don't look and go, oh my God, the third fastest guy there is 19.8. Join the party,
Mhm.
Right.
right? Join the party.
I mean, join the party. Is we got to create that hashtag and keep it going, because look, would we agree that the absolute upset of the track and field Olympics was the men's 100-meter final? No one had Lamont Jacobs winning the 100, right? Nobody.
No, nobody.
Like I casually knew who he was because he's run some good indoor 60s in recent time. So his name's out there, but nobody was thinking about that dude being the Olympic champion. But go look at his progression.
Mhm.
It makes a lot of sense. And whatever he's been doing, he's been grinding it out. And if he can do that, and Fred Curley can decide, you know what, to hell with this, I want to run the 100, and come out of there with a 9.8 performance and an Olympic silver medal. Like, there is space here for what Sir Lucius is saying. Don't run. Make a decision. Bet on yourself. Like, Fred Curley is the ultimate lesson in bet on yourself. Okay? Most people thought he was nuts. We didn't know what to make of it at the time.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yes.
It's not just betting on yourself, because yes, he did that, but he put all his chips in the middle.
All of them. Yes.
That's the big
That's
thing right there.
but that's the part, right? Look,
Send them all to the middle of the table.
he could not. I'm not gonna say he couldn't have made the team in the 400. I'll just say this: he didn't come to the trials with a backup plan. I am making this team in the 100 and the 200. That was what his plan was.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's that part that people struggle with. The full-fledged commitment to the crazy. Because everybody's gonna, what you're trying to do is crazy till you do it. It's just how it goes. Extraordinary is exactly the combination of those two words, extraordinary. It ain't what everybody else can do.
That's right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we need more people to make those kind of decisions, because ultimately, Fred Curley being able to run 9.8 and go into next year as the Olympic silver medalist and, I'm sorry, our best 100-meter runner means something. Like that, it's a whole different conversation now. And yeah, Christian will be coming back, but Christian, like, the world moved on just fine without him. So now he's got to get back in there and make himself relevant again. Like,
Which he will do.
Which he will do. And
here's the flip side to that, Clyde. The flip side of that is the guy that was 5th or 6th, that's a 10 flat or 9.9, that doesn't now say, well, I can't make the team, so I'm not going to try as well as hard. You got to come back and say, okay, if I'm a Kai Williams, I got to become a 9.7 guy. I got to keep aggressive. If I'm Gillespie, I can't be 10 flat. I got to work harder to be 9. You know, like I walk away from those championships. I look at the 400. I'm like, we got to get back in that game. You know, like there was nothing spectacular about the 400 last night. It's just that, you know, I think that JS has done a phenomenal job with Michael Cherry. I think Michael Cherry is about to be a problem. You know, but there's got to be more than Michael Cherry and Michael Norman that can show better than 44 low. You know, we got to go back to the old days. We're just 3 or 4 guys running 43. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. You know? And I mean, since we're focused on those kind of things, I mean, listen, America didn't get a medal. That didn't happen. So props to the medalists. Very well executed. Me personally, the reemergence of Karani James is awesome to watch, and we're all here for that. But from an American perspective, Michael Cherry was the most impressive to me, because the decision he made to go to John Smith and the fruits of that labor that are now coming out have saved his career. And so I'm excited to see what the next, step is for Michael Cherry, because he was more impressive. Like,
he pushed his chips into the table also.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to be. I think the all-in analogy is wonderful. It is.
I want to stick this little caveat in there just to punch it home from what we've been talking about, right? This country we always think that results matter more than process, and we're wrong as wrong could be about that, right? We didn't win a medal this decathlon we didn't win a medal in this Olympics in this decathlon, but for us to be 4th, 5th, and I believe it's 4th, 5th, and 9th, that's one of the best results team-wise we've ever had. Yeah. Right? Like the 96 team, Dan won, Steve was 4th, and I was 10th. I think if you do the math, and we're considered the best US team that's ever happened, right? Like, what those 3 guys did without a medal and without any support, without any real fanfare. I mean, hell, the best guy was playing football for 3 years, right? Like, that's what it looks like, folks. Is don't wait till it's sexy to do whatever it is. Decide there's work there that can be done, and I'm going to do it, and then go do it. Right? The best example to me of what being an Olympian should look like is Andre DeGrasse.
Hey,
every time they hand out medals, the work that Andre has done was in preparation for winning medals. Not to run 1978 or 82 or whatever on whatever Diamond League. Like, I seen that dude run a bunch of 10-0 races, right? the work that Andre DeGrasse does, and I bet you most of it's up here, but the work that Andre DeGrasse does is about being successful when it matters most. And at the end of the day, I don't know Andre like this, but I know winners. So I'm going to say that I bet you money that this thought went to his head. There's no way I'm not winning this gold medal because Bolt's not in it, and he's the only dude who can beat me to the line in the Olympics.
Hey,
I'll bet you dollars to donuts some version of that was the last thought he had before it was like, set.
look, I want to point something out specifically about Andre DeGrasse because I haven't heard anybody talk about it. And at this point, given what he just did in these Olympics, Andre DeGrasse deserves a hell of a lot more respect than he's getting from everybody. Most people in this sport are lucky to get a medal with a coach. And the minute they change said coaches, their careers kind of teeter and it goes all funky. Andre DeGrasse is doing what he's doing on his third coach. It doesn't matter who's coaching this dude. He shows up and gets medals, and he's gotten them with every single coach that he's been with. So the common denominator is Andre DeGrasse, and he deserves a lifetime of praise for that because almost nobody could do that. I mean, really, really think about that. Think about anybody that you really, really respect that has won medals. Who's done it with multiple coaches? It's very rare. It's very, very rare. And that speaks a lot to his mentality, his makeup, and his ability to perform under pressure. And Andre DeGrasse deserves a hell of a lot more praise than he gets in our sport. Oh, by the way, are they married? His wife's the same way.
Absolutely.
His better half is the same way. Nia Ali's the same damn way. So something going on in that household. Those two are mental monsters that find a way to win no matter who's coaching.
And they're reproducing, so it's happening again.
Right.
So
It's
happening.
Whole other problem in 20 years.
But before we jump ship, I just want to give one more shout out. Listen, I did the event, so I guess I have a greater appreciation for this. But Damian Warner scoring over 9,000 points in the Olympics, in a venue, like he has not done well in the spotlight. Let's put it that way, right? That man earned his spot at the top, right? He got punched in the face in front of God and everybody many, many times along the way. Meets he was supposed to win that it didn't happen. And he was a rock star and rock solid the whole way. And, people sort of kind of act ho-hum because he scored 9,000 points because it's been done before. I'm like, you guys are nuts. There's 4 people ever on this planet who've ever scored 9,000 points. And let's be clear, 8,600 points is still a lot. Look at the scores behind him. 8,700 was second. Okay. So 9,000 points is special. And a little shout out to the young man for, again, figuring out what needed to be done, moving to where it needed to be done, and doing the work that needed to happen. You have to take honest assessments of how you came up short in order to go forward. And he has done that. So those are my shout outs.
I'm gonna give a couple of shout outs to, first of all, Ryan Krauser, and to the man that Lamar loves to hate, my man Joe Kovacs.
Oh,
I do not hate. I love Joe Kovacs.
Joe, who was not going to make the team, Kovacs, who is now the silver medalist. So I'll just leave that right there. Want to give a shout out to Miss Mo, who absolutely masterfully to pick apart that. I mean, I'm apologizing. I mean, like, I can't. The poise. You have to be here and be around her. Her poise is unmatched for a 19-year-old. It's just great. Yeah, like, because she takes about 50
Clyde,
steps.
that's what unbeatable looks like.
You
were talking about Sid not being. I'm telling you right now, a thing Mo is what never losing looks like. Because I don't think there's a person on the planet who can beat her.
And then she slows it down. They come through on 127, and she goes, "Well, I got to go now, guys." Like, the nice girl. She just takes off, right? So it's like, big out shot. The young lady in the pole vault last night again. I apologize.
Katie Najat.
My goodness. I mean, she had 2 misses at the opening bar, right? Cleared it on her 3rd attempt. It's like, I got to get this now, guys. Just phenomenal competition. I want to give a shout out to Javon Harrison. Obviously, the game did not go the way that he would like them to go, but that young man competed his tail off to the point where he could hardly walk the day after the launch. It's just incredible. I mean, the man jumped almost 7'8", got 7. It wasn't like he came over there and right? I mean, just things like that. It's been a phenomenal. Fred Curry's performance in the 100. We talk about Jacobs, but Fred was phenomenal, and those are my shout outs right there.
I mean, we could do this for hours.
Not really.
No. The man's got a schedule. But no, listen. I had the pleasure to get a +1 invite to Universal Studios for the NBC Olympic, whatever they got going on down there. A very awesome event. And because of the accident of the TV schedule, I actually got to spend a lot of time around Miss Bernice, who's a Thing Mo's mother. That woman's phenomenal. And if you meet her, you totally understand what's going on with that child. And listen, she dismantled that field. Mm-hmm. And it was clear before the final that there wasn't really much anybody was going to be able to do with her. If you take it out, she don't care because she can run 49. So whatever you think the pace being fast is, she's jogging. And if you sit back and turn it into a sprint, well, that's just stupid. So, like, I don't know what they're going to do with her. I don't know the young lady who got second, but she's also 19 years old. So the youth have announced themselves in the world of 800 meters. But you're absolutely right. Miss Mo, as we all have been saying all year, is a straight up unicorn and proved that she has the mentality to dominate that event for years and years and years to come. She might just get bored, and then then maybe they'll get a reprieve. She might get bored and do something else. But as far as I'm concerned,
there will be a year where she decides I'm going to go run 400. That's coming. Again, conversation with her yesterday. She's very intrigued by the 400. So
that's right.
48 seconds is coming, folks. Get ready.
No, and that's what I'm saying. As far as I'm concerned, she took the American record as a rookie. The world record is coming, and the American record in the 400 might be coming too.
Well, what's your girl's name? Big girl, the holds the record in the 48.
The holds the record.
World record
the world record. That's a Lamar name. I can't say that name.
Are you talking about Yarmila Kratakvilova?
Yeah, her. Yeah. Because see, I know better than butcher that name because we're gonna laugh at it. So she's her. That's what you're about to see. Because see, here's the alarming thing. The day you see a result beside her name and it says 22 anything in the 200, game over. And that's coming as well. She's got to learn how to use start blocks a little bit better. Yeah. The day she becomes proficient at the 2, game over. She's already shown she can run 15, right?
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, can we give a shout out to Kenny Harrison for exercising some demons, getting her silver medal, right? But Jasmine Camacho, oh my God. and the beauty is, I talked to Jasmine last night. I was like, so can we stop cursing during the race? She goes, I hit the hurdle. I was about to break the world record. I was mad. I said, well, finish the race before you start cursing. Like, she literally, if you watch the video, she's cursing as she goes around.
Oh, absolutely. As she's crossing the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the Olympics in general, I'm sure that there's some highbrow TV money issue that drives this that I don't understand and I'm not paid to understand. But I'm sorry, I just don't really care. There are too many events at the Olympics that are going on in track and field and in the larger I should not be watching finals run in the morning. I don't like it. It sucks. It's disrespectful to the athletes. The men's shot was in the morning. It shouldn't be that way. Krauser was still amazing. Kovacs was still amazing. The competition was still good. It would have been better in prime time for them. I'm sure it's a TV issue. I don't care. Get creative and find a way to fix it, because the finals should not be as you're getting out of bed. It just shouldn't be. All the hurdle finals were in the morning.
The hurdle, the men's 100, men's 110 hurdles, the shot put, and the men's triple jump are all going on at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me, and it's not cool for the athletes at all. Now,
They started that mess. They started that nonsense in Rio. I'm not sure why, but that's where it started.
well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's new. So it's one of those new things that somebody thought was a good idea. It's not a good idea. It sucks. Go back to what it was. Like, prelims in the morning, finals in the night. Figure it out. Like, I don't care how you do it. Just figure it out.
There's a lot of things with this schedule that are new and unimproved, and we don't. That's a whole nother show. Like, I'll just drop this one in there. You should never be running prelims of a 4x4 before the open 4 is ended.
There's that.
That just shouldn't happen. So, but anyway,
especially when we gave 2 days of rest between the semifinal and the final of the men's 400.
I mean, exactly, right?
Now listen.
Big league. What we got next?
But before we go next, since we're talking about the Olympics, listen. You know we will get scorned if we don't at least allow Sir Lucius to address the 110 hurdle results. Because we address them when they go the right way and the way we all love to see it. If we don't address it, we'll get scorned. We'll get cut to pieces.
Oh, no problem at all. So Grant just didn't execute well. It's honestly, it's an issue we've had in the past. And I'm gonna tell you what I told him. Congratulations, you're a silver medalist, and I'm gonna have to learn how to coach you better. Big ups to the Jamaicans. They showed up and got it done. And I also want to give a shout out to Devin Allen. Devin Allen came here and competed well. He did the thing. I think that the 110 hurdles is an event that I think that can be epic in the United States again. But it's going to take Grant and Devin and Daniel and young men from Alabama and people like that to show up and make it a grind. That we don't just, they can't just show up and just give it to Grant, those guys. But at the end of the day, that was the first time this year, the first time since we left Doha, the Grant wasn't on his A game. He's got to be by a better guy. So, I refused to watch the replay until about 2:00 this morning, and I watched it. I was like, oh my God, that was like, he didn't have like the 13:02 in the first round was up. I was like, and then the 13:13 was up in the air. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, the 13:09 was the worst of the ball. I'm just like, again, we got to figure out what goes on in his brain that causes that. Because if we're going to be the best to ever do this, that's something we have to exercise. So,
can I ask you one more question about the event in general? Because it's honestly one of the weirdest. Like, if you take a step back and you're a fan of it, that whole event was weird from start to finish. Obviously, the defending Olympic champion from Jamaica, Omar McLeod, failed to make his own team. So he was missing. Then, if you go into the event, you're saying, okay, Grant is the heavy favorite to win the medal, and behind him, the Russian Shubenkov and or Ortega are probably the medal favorites. And they never met the starter. Like, they never ran in the first round. Do you know why they didn't run?
I have no idea. I say because I saw the Russian. I saw Shubenkov, like he was here, but I never saw him move up. I saw him at the warm-up track. I never saw Ortega. I'm not saying Ortega wasn't here, but I never saw him. So, but I have no idea why that didn't happen. And after that, it's a shine off the event as well. See, here's my thing, and this is because I'm in the lab hard with this one. 13 flat's not fast. No. But because everybody thinks it is, that's what they strive to do. So when people will show up, and this is a challenge to Grant, to Daniel, to Devin, to all the collegiate hurdlers out there. You know, stop getting pumped up when you run 13.3. Stop getting pumped up when we run 13.2. You know, we have to take this event where it belongs. Wilbur Ross said it years ago. 1260 something should be the world record. So let's take it there. But nobody's trying to do that. You know, to speak to that, you know, Ralph Mann told me Grant can run 1265. Told me that after the trial. And after
Follow the lead of the 400 hurdlers.
And if you take the 1281, you should have run 1275 in that, right? So that tells you can run 1260.
And that's the nuance of all of this that's most interesting to me as a former hurdler, right? It's like, if you watch, I want to be very, very clear. Hansel Parchment did his job. His PR is 12.9, and that was years ago. Years ago. He showed up at the Jamaican trials, did his job. Omar didn't do his job. He showed up at the Olympics, did his job, ran the best race he's run in years, and got himself an Olympic gold medal. He will forever be the Olympic gold medalist. But don't get it twisted. It had to be a 13.0 race for him to be the Olympic gold medalist. Again, the Olympic champion wasn't there. The two of the top 3 favorites weren't there. And Grant executed, you know, one of his worst races in a really, really long time. So it's like 13.0 is not fast. And you're absolutely right. If the men and women in the 400 hurdles are raising this bar in the sprint
and the floor, we got to find a way to do that in the 110s, especially on the American side of the 110s, because Grant might be, you know, dominant and breaking records and pushing that boundary. But last I checked, we used to be in a system here where America dominated the men's short hurdles, just like the women have done in recent times. Now, Camacho Quinton came in here and and announced herself and said, you know what, I'm putting a stop to all of that for the foreseeable future, and that's cool. But the collective, but we have to respond.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
So.
Man, the audience asked for a really good show. Pretty sure they just got that. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, great insight, great just facts. And yeah, I hope everyone just picks their jaw up off the ground. You know, go ahead and wipe that saliva off. We're good. Let's move forward. So, as if you didn't have enough pressure and things going on, Sir Lucius, you are also on rapid fire.
Oh, that's just cruel.
I know, right? I was going through my records and I'm like, oh man.
Let me say this for the record. There's no pressure. There's no, like I've said this before, nobody can put more pressure on me than I put on myself. I don't put pressure on myself. You just get it done. And again, to address the idiocy that's been going on that we talked about at the beginning of the show, have a great day, folks, because I'm going to have one. So
Love it. Love that response, right? All right. We ready, sir?
I'm absolutely ready.
All right. What has been your favorite meal since you've been in Japan?
So there's this little spot, like just kind of diagonal from my the room in the dorm, and like it's called the casual dining spot. So that's where I have lunch every day when I'm here. And the beef, and I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I was in line with the Japanese team one day, so they were suggesting these for me to try, right? So the rice is off the chain, personally. I'm not trying to be culturally funny here, but the rice is off the chain, by the way. The beef was really good. The pork was seasoned a little funny for me, but they have this grilled spinach that's to die for. Like I get that every day. Yeah. The only issue I have with the dining spot is like they don't have any ranch dressing. It's just, I don't know.
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you. Oh my god.
They will deport you immediately if you go put some ranch dressing on any of their stuff.
I know, right? And you can't because there's none in the building. Like, come on, man, I need some ranch dressing.
Oh my gosh! Stop it! Stop it!
But I know it's been great.
Good. What event would you want to coach that you haven't yet?
Oh my gosh. What event would I want to coach that I haven't coached?
If that's too hard,
You know what?
we know you're
No,
the
no,
GOAT,
no.
so
You
you've
know,
coached
I
everything.
you know, I want to delve into the pole vault one of these days.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, and only because and Lamar has sat with me, and because he's tried to teach me how to see it, and so because I haven't had more sessions to be able to sit with Lamar, now I'm intrigued. It's his fault, so he can shake his head all at once. because I said to him,
I thought you were gonna say the steeplechase.
Yeah, whatever.
I thought he was gonna say the Olympic 4x1s.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Oh, I've done that as an
Yeah,
assistant.
he did do that.
Yeah, so
oh my gosh!
you
Wow.
check that one off the box. So.
Do you run your own Twitter account?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually about to turn it over to somebody. But, yeah.
That's hilarious. He made it.
Yeah.
Who or what has been your most, I guess, impressive team that you've run into? Who has been the most impressive, or what team has been the most impressive that you run into?
In terms of what? That's kind of a broad-based question.
Just for you, like the wow factor for you.
Nobody's wowed me over here. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The thing that's wowed me more than anything else is our medical team here. You know, the hours they put in, the diligence they put in. That's so much a wow. I've also been, wowed by just the energy of Aretha Thurman and her staff here. Tim Weaver and Marcia and the whole crew have just been like, you just keep waiting for, we've been here for a while. I keep waiting for the letdown. But I've been wowed by them. But there's been no team here that's wowed me. I have been very impressed with the Italians. They're up to something, right? They're up to something.
Seriously.
So nobody's wowed me, but I've been impressed by the Italians. So I'm gonna say that.
Got it. Have you had a green tea Kit Kat yet?
Nope.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh,
So
no,
it's
it
Kit
is.
Kats.
And I've had one. So I've had one before because when I was working with Hakeem, they used to bring them to me.
Okay.
I'm good.
I love it. I love it.
I can promise you, there's probably some hidden in our pantry someplace at the house.
Do you own a winter coat?
Several.
He's an Ohio.
Interesting.
I'm from Ohio. I have to go
I
home,
know.
right?
True.
So I've got, and see, Lamar will understand this one. I've got a pea coat that I've had for like 25, 30 years.
That you've worn 5 times.
Actually about 7, but but it's in immaculate condition. Y'all pull it out every now and then. I can still get in it.
All right, last but not least, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to sleep in your own bed? I figured as much.
I mean, like this bed it's just not cute at all. It's not very wide. The sturdiness is not the problem. It's just not very wide. It's not comfortable.
It's funny. Gentlemen, you have your 2 questions, and then I have the results that you requested earlier. So please fire away.
I'll go first. Of all the things that you've ever seen in track and field, is there anything that you've ever seen in track and field that was better to your eyes than the men's 400 hurdles race?
The immediate answer is going to be no, because of the depth of the race. But probably the only result that I ever looked at that was like, are you kidding me? Was 140 in the 800, right? That was the only one that just like, oh, wow, just the depth of that race wasn't what the depth of this race was. But no, I've never, and it was again like being in the warm period and watching these guys warm up for this. There wasn't a guy that went to the line and didn't keep it. That was the crazy part. I mean, you talk to Lennox, he and Kyron, they were going to win. You know, obviously Samba and Dos Santos, like you don't think you're gonna run 46-7 and lose, right? Let alone get third and get beat by almost a full second, right? So yeah, it just was crazy. Yeah.
So my question is similar, because as a coach at the games, you spend most of your time on the warm-up track. And you may have hinted at it earlier, I actually don't know. What is the best thing you've seen on the warm-up track?
And I don't know who it was. Well, there's two things. One was the precision and the diligence of the warm-up of the Chinese and the Japanese and the football ones. Like there's nothing like it. Like and they are. It's clear that whoever the guy is that's doing it with them is like, if you mess this up, I might chop your head off, right? Like it's the most serious thing you ever seen, right? And the other thing was I watched a guy doing a triple jump drill. He was doing something where he's bounding into the pit. Now I've seen guys do it like when they put the hurdle right at the edge of the pit and they bound, go over the hurdle, like a jump, they do the jump phase over the hurdle. This dude was doing that bound into the pit over a hurdle. Not the jump phase, a bound.
Oh.
And I looked around and I'm like, don't go back to America. Try that. So that was ultra impressive. That and watching, I did catch a glimpse of Ryan Clouds doing a standing throw that I swear went about 68 feet. So
yeah.
It's just, I'm like, the dude is just amazing. Like, I don't know if you guys saw his qualifying throw, where he just kind of walked up there and just I'm out. So there was nothing technical about it. I was like, I don't have time to be fooling with y'all today. So y'all take this and I'll see y'all in a couple of days. So those are the most impressive things I've seen.
That's crazy. Wow. Per the request, the US ran 37.1, Great Britain ran 37.36, and then Japan ran 37.43.
That's not close. That's not close. That's not close.
Sir.
It's not close.
Listen.
That's not close.
I got you. Listen. All I'm gonna do, and you'll appreciate this, I'm going to, because I already have it, I'm going to forward you the 4x1 predictor from your calculator that shows.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Okay. I'm not saying that they didn't perform to their max and we did not. I'm just saying you said we did. Okay, as you like to say, rewind the tape, and then I'm going to ask my girl Chu to stick a pin in it when she gets there. You said we nipped them at the line. That's
no, I didn't. No. I said it's not like I said it's not like we nipped them at the line, but it was way closer than it needed to be. That's what I said.
We'll
run the tape.
We rewind the tape. What is it? Because it wasn't close. I know that.
Oh my God.
It wasn't close.
I cannot.
But see, and don't for me to predict. I mean, I am the guy that invented the predictors. I don't need it. But we have these. Look, you behave yourself because we have this discussion every freaking Olympics and World Championships about how fast we should run. So that's a scab that just drives me crazy, right? It does. Because let me just say it for the world to hear. If we do it right, we break the world record. Okay, for the record, folks, if Mike Holloway is doing the relay, which I am not, I'm going Kenny Bednarik to Fred Curley to Ronnie Baker to Noah Lyles. We run 36 low, and I'll see y'all. I'm going to be sipping on something. I don't know what it is, but that's the relay. That's how
Mike dropped.
Game over.
I would like to respectfully ask that I go last in heartbeat props, if that's cool.
Yeah.
You didn't have to respectfully ask. You said to ask.
I want to give a shout out, or my heartbeat prompts, I should say, to those who have already decided that this was going to be their last competition. So to the likings of Brittany Reese. And I apologize for everyone who else has announced that, but right now that's who sticks in my mind because that one's a pretty big one for me. Like she's done things upon things upon things. I saw in an off year where I went to recruit the California State JUCO meet and she was coaching, you know, following her on social media and hearing her talk about her son and whatnot. You know, she's done things, and not that she's the only one, I'm just picking her out specifically, that has just done a lot of things and a lot of things well, you know. So shout out to everyone who's declared that they're done after these games, but specifically Brittany Reese, because she did it. She executed. She just got beat. I mean, the rounds of jumps that we saw this year, male and female, 6-round jumps wins. Like, wow, that's crazy. So thank you so much for everything that you've done for female athletes, as well as field event athletes, since we are the lesser more often than not. Good stuff, good times, and I hope you have fun for whatever else you do next.
I do have a question. Lamar, did you recruit Brittany Reese out of high school?
I did. I did.
I have never let that go. You know that.
That's more than fine. I'm going to jump in here.
See, I want to thank Clyde for allowing me to be petty. He taught me how to be petty at a high level. I appreciate that, Clyde.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. I'm good with it. My heartbeat props go out to two people who had debilitating, at some level, deemed career-ending injuries. Nefi TM, who came back from a career-ending back injury to win a gold medal as a repeat champion, and to Will Clay. A year ago, Will Clay couldn't go to the Olympics because he tore his Achilles. And I watched that man create passion and fire in a stadium with nobody in it. He was yelling at people that weren't there and getting feedback and fire from people who were not there, because in his head, this was the third and maybe final battle between him and Christian that was supposed to happen. It didn't, but he was going to get it that way. And, you know, life is cruel sometimes, and he did get fourth. But I just want to say to that young man, listen, what he had to do to come back from an Achilles tear to be able to jump 17 mid in an empty stadium, that's harder than what most people ever do in their lives. And my heartbeat props go to people, because listen, nobody ever talks about injury. Oh, they can change the course of everything. And to come back and be undaunted and continue your Olympic journey with those kind of hiccups, those deserve a wow and a clap. And that's where I'm at tonight.
Okay. So, you know, I have had the pleasure of having some interesting conversations with people over the last month, and leading up to this, being here in the middle of this. And you know, one of the people that I've had a lot of talks with is Orrin Richburg. And so I'm gonna give my props to Orrin Richburg, who he's a different guy, but his intelligence is hidden behind his humor. And I think that the thing I appreciate about Orrin is his honesty. It comes off a little brutal to some folks sometimes, but it's needed in this sport. Orrin likes to use the term, you have to be on the ground. You know, we've heard George Williams, the famous quote, but George, you can't know the play if you're not in the huddle. And Orrin likes to keep people in the huddle. And I also want to give props to the folks that are here, you know, that are not on the internet, sitting in their cushy chairs, and, you know, saying the disrespectful things they are to people, to the Daryl Andersons and Lane Francis and Lawrence Johnson. Hey, Bobby Kersey, who people don't know, Bobby was really sick for a while. And Bobby had to go through some things just to get here. And Bobby is coaching his tail off. You know, John Smith is, you know, he's got to be 70-something years old, right? Who's still masterfully getting it done. You know, my props to those are people that are in the arena. You know, that, you know, we're here, we're getting bloody, we're getting blunted, and we're doing our thing. So my props to Oren and to all the people who are here that are on the ground getting it done. And for those of you who have so much to say, come join the party, though. Then we might have a little more respect for it. And then you'll understand that this is not nearly as easy as you perceive it to be.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna do my best to try to get through this. Every Olympics, you have like people who kind of rise to stardom in the moment, and how long their star stays relevant is obviously up to, you know, the general populace, right? One of the absolute stars of the Olympics has been Miss Raven Saunders.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot about Raven's story that everybody should take the time to know. And unfortunately, as Huff just said, the world is kind of cruel sometimes. Like I said, I got lucky and was able to tag along and be in Orlando for a couple of days. And I met some phenomenal people, parents of athletes, you know, friends and family. It was a great idea that NBC and the USOC came up with because of no fans being allowed in Tokyo. And some of the people I got to meet were Miss Clarissa, who is Raven's mother, and her younger sister, Tanzania. I watched this family be incredibly overjoyed with emotion watching Raven go out there and perform the way she did. Then the next night, they're all in the building. You know, it's food, it's drinks, it's everybody's having a great time. I watched these people stand on the stage and do the Cupid Shuffle with all the other parents that were in the building that night. It was a great energy. It was fun. It was joyous. And then the following morning, she's walking down with Athing Mo's mother to watch Athing Mo run live for her 800-meter gold medal. And she had a seizure in the hallway. And she died later that day in Orlando. The world is just cruel sometimes. And I can't even imagine what Raven's going through, having to deal with all of this. And I don't even know these people. I just met them. But in the really short time that I met them, their energy was infectious. They are absolutely great people. And I get what's behind Raven and all the things that she wants to do in the sport. I feel incredibly bad for that family, but I just want to send heartbeat props out to Raven and let her know that her family, her mother, got to witness her performance before she went. And that woman was in a total state of joy in her final hours of life. And the world is just cruel. So Raven Saunders deserves to be a star in this sport. She is everything that is good about this sport. And I hope that her story and her platform and her reach just continues to spread, because not only is she a phenomenal athlete, but she's a great person, and she does it with a level of joy and emotion that everybody should learn from. So Raven, love you, girl. You're a star. And rest in peace and respect our family.
Amen.
Amen to that, sir.
God, brother.
Well, with that said, we'll round out the show here. We'll be rounding out the Olympics, and so we'll do a post-Olympics show. And I don't know how we debrief more than we've done today, but I'm sure there'll be more. I don't know how.
Do I get my
there will be
crown
more.
then? Is that when I get my
Yeah,
crown?
you can get your crown then. You can get your crown.
You'll get something. You will get something. But thank you again, and I say this from the sincerity of my heart for those who haven't been in the arenas that you all have been at the levels that you have been, because you shine light on things that commoners don't know, and so thank you for your insights and your foresights. And from the bottom, I'm not saying that I am the bottom, but from the bottom up, we're going to bring everything up. That's my testament to those who are similar to me, who are trying to get there. We're going to bring the floor up. We have to. So without further ado, Sir Lucius, be safe for the remaining days. We'll be happy to see you back at home sooner than later. I'm sure you may have more happier than us. And other than that, everyone be safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the Olympics. Thanks, everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's placing with pill to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.